forgot. Welcome back. I'm Ophelia. Candace is out of town, but she will be back next week. So for today, you get fabulous me. Also, some exciting news. We are still working on Callie and Calico, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, and today we are going to be interviewing the Alex Jack. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Come. Hither in my kingdom.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well.
So, tell me about your journey as an artist. Have you always wanted to be in film, and how did you sort of get into it?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in film. Even when I was younger, I'd kind of take my family's, little video recorder and film things. I think there's a video of me about 5 with little paper cutouts of spaceships, making little movies in front of black cardboard and stuff. So it's always been an interest of mine. I wound up going to the Public Academy for Performing Arts here in Albuquerque for film specifically. I kind of dropped out of film for a little while and actually was a musician for a bit. Wound up being in a middle band, but that whole journey brought me back to Albuquerque where I started directing films.
Nice. Okay. So, how did you hear about the opportunity to, work as a health coordinator on Stranger Things? Excuse me, while I fangirl for a hot minute. Woo! How was that?
It was fun. It was kind of grueling, but, it was a really good experience, and it was all thanks to one of my friends, Curtis. He got the opportunity and reached out to a couple of us from UNM, and, yeah, that's how we found out.
Okay, so, how was that? Did you meet all the actors and, see all the actors? Do tell, who was on it?
I met a few.
Okay.
I can't say
I
too
know,
much.
I was going to say, we might get, they'll come after us. Okay.
But it was a really good experience, being able to see that kind of a set.
Okay. So, I guess let's get to know you a little bit more. I heard that you play Dungeons and Dragons. Is that one of your hobbies?
I like to listen to podcasts.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
So tell us about you.
So I mainly write and direct videos in my spare time right now, but I do a lot of video games actually in my spare time, and when I'm not doing videos or music.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you went to UNM
Mm-hmm.
for film. Is there a reason why you wanted to stay in the state instead of is there anywhere else you'd rather have gone for college, or were you content with that?
No, UNM was always a college that I wanted to go to,
Yeah.
growing up here in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And when I moved back here after being a musician, in Dallas for a little while, I came back here and I just decided to get the degree at UNM because I heard that their film program was really good. And it led to a lot of good opportunities, like Stranger Things, so, it worked out.
That is so true. Well, I guess since you're from Dallas, and that makes sense, it's big town, then small town, people want to go to big town. It's
Right.
vice versa.
Right.
That's so cool. I love that. I heard they have a good film program there. I've been wanting to go there for acting. Nice. Okay, you're inspiring me. I want to get on Stranger Things. So I guess going back to health and safety, how was it working as an artist during the global pandemic?
It was definitely different because, whenever I'm filming stuff, I'm used to being, in creative control. So being more behind the scenes and just making sure, everyone's safe and keeping their distance was definitely not necessarily challenging, but it was a different kind of role. But it was nice to know that I was part of this crucial machine to, getting everything to the finished product.
So does it seem like things are starting to go back to normal on set, or is it still forever, it's just changed drastically?
I think things are still the same as they always have been, which is good because, things kind of are still the same. We just kind of brushed it under the rug a little more.
So I guess, like, going back to you and your film, do you have a trailer that we could play?
I do,
Yes.
yeah. Actually, I have one for Dream Snatcher, yeah.
Okay, Dream Snatcher. Shall we snatch the trailer?
The Dream Snatcher comes, drawn by your desires. Its soul comes hungry, empty from the fires. The Dream Snatcher comes, hiding in plain sight. It enters your mind, painting your delights. It creeps in your dreams to snatch your hopes away.
Awesome. Well, that was fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, Stranger Things qualities. So the other film was
Harbinger?
Harbinger.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So Harbinger is this sci-fi film that I did recently. It just released a few months ago to a couple film festivals. It's a sci-fi thriller, kind of horror-esque, you know. It's probably my favorite project I've done, honestly. It turned out really well.
Okay. So, like, I looked at your Instagram and I saw that you've won a few awards. Do you want to tell me a little about those?
Yeah, so we've won awards for, well, we got honorable mention for Best Sci-Fi and Best Sound Design. We won an award for Best Production Design in another one. We've been nominated for Best First Time Director and Sound Design in another one. I can't remember what the other nomination was for.
Okay, you're like, sorry, I got too many, I can't keep track. Do you have like a whole wall of all your like,
Not
Mr.
yet.
Hollywood?
Soon.
Okay, I love that. So you have a production company.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you sort of start that? Like,
So I actually met a couple actors on Harbinger, and we kind of, after doing that project, we all worked so well together, we decided to just keep things going. So we wound up founding this production company called Mirage Media, and we've done a couple productions under that. Dream Snatcher is actually our biggest one that we've done. The other one was Proposal. That's available on YouTube if anybody wants to check it out. It's kind of our first little project together, but we're really starting to branch out into more ambitious projects.
nice. So is this little production team, is it open to the public, or like any actors or people that want to go in there and express their creative works, or is it just like exclusive?
So for now, we're working together just on our own projects, but the goal is once we start kind of, getting more resources, is to opening it up to more people being able to use us as a way to create, their films or their visions as, they want to.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice. So it's like kind of still in the works, but it's starting to
Exactly.
evolve.
It's starting to finally get to
That's
where
what
we
they
want it to be.
say. New Mexico is the new Hollywood.
It
It's like,
is.
why go out there when you can come here and be like, phew, just like, there's so much like opportunity to seize. And I love that you're like creating that for more aspiring people, You're like,
Trying to, help the
love
local
that.
scene because, I think we need to really be helping each other more out here.
you're telling me. Yes. So you're really into like horror and sci-fi.
Yeah.
So what is like your favorite film of like all time?
All time. Right now, it's Blade Runner 2049.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Oh,
Do you
really?
want to tell a little bit about it? Like, what is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's the sequel to Blade Runner, which
Okay.
was a
Oh, I know.
Ridley Scott
I know
film
that.
back in the 80s. It's pretty good. It's got Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford in it. It's a movie about androids, and it's a cyberpunk world. It's really cool.
Okay. Oh, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he here? Ryan Gosling? Well, hello, King. Okay, so like, I know you're coming up with a new film,
Mhm.
and like, has it world premiere? Is it coming up? Like, tell us a little bit more about your Dream Snatcher. Is there going to be a premiere for it?
So yeah, it
Yes.
is actually premiering at the Dark Red Horror Film Festival on Halloween. So
Mhm.
it'll be the world premiere there.
Nice, spooky vibes. So like, what inspired you to like make Dream Snatcher?
I wanted to do a creature film, but we wanted to do something more psychological and kind of, I guess, trippy is the word. So we decided to have this creature that actually lures you into kind of this dream state. So things aren't, exactly real, and our main character is trying to figure out exactly what's happening the whole time.
Nice. So
Mhm.
I guess speaking of the dark red horror film,
Mhm.
we have another guest
We do.
that is gonna also be there. Shall we introduce her? Maria. kingdom,
Yes, I
my
like it here.
kings and queens. So, do you want to say your full name?
Yeah, Maria Forsythe.
Forsythe.
I
Oh, I love that.
mouthful,
She's
but-
unique. I love her. Somebody get her a crown.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about you. Who is she?
Ooh, so I am a cinematographer mainly. So I'm not really in the directing realm, but yeah, I love the camera department. I came in just really being drawn to the technical side of filmmaking. I'm also an editor, and my fiance and I just started a production company here in Albuquerque.
You also?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's starting production companies. I
It's
love
the
that.
place to be.
I'm telling you, New Mexico is taking over LA and New York. It's like, who is she? New Mexico? We know her.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your production company. So is it also like open to the public or just still in the works?
Yeah. So we're Lucky Horse Productions, brand new. Yeah, and we are kind of dabbling in all areas of the industry. So narrative film, commercial marketing content, and event videography. So we're there for whatever video needs you have.
Okay, nice. So I hear that you have a background in theater and dance.
That's true, yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about your experience in those genres?
Yeah, well, I grew up going to the theater. My mom was a professional ballerina, so I was like on stage when she was pregnant with me. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, the theater was always a part of my life. I was a theater nerd in high school, and then fell in love with the creative behind the scenes of it. So I went to school at UT Austin, like I'm horns, for filmmaking, and specialized in cinematography. And yeah, here we are now.
Nice. So what led you to just like coming? So you're from originally from Texas.
Yeah, from Austin.
So what made you want to come here to New Mexico?
Oh man, so many things. I mean, I loved the nature of New Mexico.
Yes.
We really like, off-roading and hiking and all that good stuff. But it really felt like a town where we could kind of like start a life and have a house and have a place for our dog, our corgi, and our cat, and also do film. So it was a nice kind of amalgamation of both, and not something that other major film cities offer. So I think it's unique in that way.
That is true. There's like a lot of less competition here, I've noticed. Like not everyone's fighting for this. It's more of like we're all trying to get where we want to get without this like naggingness. But there's still that,
Yeah.
but in like a more passive aggressive way.
Yeah.
Not so straight up like an elevator,
Right.
like, excuse me, that's my role.
Right.
But out here they're like, okay, sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go in the corner and cry. And
Yeah.
Get over yourselves. You have a cat.
Yeah.
I love cats. What is your cat's?
Yeah.
I mean, like, she
Yeah, I know,
I was like, wait, what is your cat's name?
Her name is Catherine, or Cat for short.
Catherine?
Yeah.
Like Cat-Thrin.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute. And then your dog?
Yeah, we have a corgi named Taco. So
Taco.
they're really cute
Nice. I
together,
love
yeah.
that. Oh, how cute. So tell me, so your film is also going to be in the Dark Red Horror Fest.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Vivian.
Yeah, so Vivian was directed by a friend of mine, Amadeus Gonzalez, and I was the cinematographer. So that was our first project together. He I think, found me, as the film network does. And so I got to DP his short. And yeah, it's a psychological thriller about experiencing trauma and how we process that after the fact. Amadeus was really great about bringing on women to the project as well, because it is a women-centric story. I think it's a really important story about what we experience just literally walking out of our door every day. So it's pretty scary in its simplicity, I would say.
Literally, tell me about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, sir, why are you cat? I know I'm a cat, but you don't need to call me, so you need to calm down.
Yeah.
So we have a trailer
Yes.
for Miss Vivian. Shall we curate that up? Yay!
No. Shit. phone's dead and I can't call anyone.
I'm headed past the gas station, and I'll be more than happy to give you a lift.
Yes, please.
So good. Woo, chills.
Yeah.
So I guess like since like horror is such a fun genre to film, what was your favorite experience on set while you guys were both filming this?
Really for us on Dream Snatcher, it was the challenge of it, I guess, was the fun part, because for a good majority of this, we only had about 12 hours to film. So we filmed 60% of the film in like 12 hours in this one location we had, and it was rough getting through all that, but we wound up getting it done, and I think it turned out pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, horror is it was challenging and unique as a cinematographer, particularly in like my relationship with the main actress played by Kiara. She's insanely talented, but we filmed some pretty intense stuff, right? And like that psychological headspace that these actors have to get into in order to portray the characters, like it was challenging, but I learned a lot about like how to create safe spaces for them. And then like the magic and the art that happens because of that. Like there's a little bit of like gore in Vivian that was super fun to see, prosthetics and all of that good stuff. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part about filming horror. Very different than, you know, the drama or comedy that you usually see in the short film world.
Yeah, there's a lot of makeup involved.
Yeah.
Like the hand we have, it took them about 2 hours to get that done every day. You know, it was,
Oh
it was
my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah, but it turned out real good.
So how do you guys like find your actors?
I got lucky on Facebook of all places.
Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
it's like Craigslist. You're like, I found the love of my life on Craigslist.
I have found actors on
Oh,
Craigslist. so,
really?
yes,
Oh my
I have,
God, that's
actually.
amazing.
Like,
I was
I don't know how.
amazing.
But yeah, I actually found the two partners for Mirage Media on Facebook. They just responded to a casting call I put out, and you know they passed obviously the auditions, and here we are.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, as a cinematographer, casting really isn't my
Yeah, you're
world. But I grew up on Facebook too, mostly.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
Facebook. Do we even have Facebook? I feel like now it's like Instagram and TikTok. Like,
If you're a filmmaker, you gotta be
You
on
gotta
Facebook.
I mean,
Facebook,
I
yeah.
have Facebook. I think I'm gonna like rekindle Facebook. You know?
Yeah, it's the place to be.
It
Get
is.
back in it.
I am gonna get back in it. So like, how do you guys support your actors on set when they're filming all these like? Because sometimes people can get like lost in character, but I guess it just depends.
It's knowing what limits not to cross, and then also giving them the safe spaces, you know, to go to afterwards. Because not necessarily for Dream Snatcher, but Harbinger had a lot of intense moments. And actually, the first scene we filmed is like this, the character breaking down. So my character Leah, or actor Leah, she did fantastic, you know, knocking her parts out. But like, it was a lot to ask her to go there. So we'd have to give her time to get to that emotional state, and then give her time to come back out of it, you know, and really just give her that supporting nature of being able to express those emotions.
Yeah, and technically you can do something called a closed set. So it was just myself and the actress in the room for some of the more intense scenes, and then the monitor that was outside of the room for the director and the focus puller. They were the only ones allowed to look at it. So that's like a really specific technical way that you can let the talent know that like they're safe. No one else is watching them in these vulnerable moments. It's literally just you and I in this room. We've built a relationship, and now we're gonna get into this nitty gritty in a place that's safe.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love that. So how long have you guys been filmmaking?
I mean, at the level I am now, just a few years, but I mean, I've always been dabbling in film my whole life. So.
Yeah, I made my first feature film in middle school.
Oh yeah.
A feature film.
Oh my
That's
God,
great.
that's
Yeah, shout out to my friends back at home.
That's so cool.
That humored me.
It's so much better than like I've done. Wow. Oh my God. So as they say, like, you never stop learning and growing. Like,
No, never.
you just like, how many years? There is no years.
There's always a bigger set.
infinite. Yeah.
Always, yeah.
I guess speaking of other stuff, I guess we shall introduce our intentional moment. Yes.
Hey everyone, Candace here, and today's intentional moment is brought to you by the Beverly Terrace Hotel, located in West Hollywood, California. If you want to find out more about this hidden gem, tune in the next couple of weeks to the New Agenda. As for today's intentional moment, today we are talking about time blocking. Now, last week we talked about task listing, which seemed kind of like a dull and boring thing, and we kind of breezed right through it. Part of that is because the magic of task listing really comes when you combine it with time blocking. So last week I talked about the idea that you take those 6 most pivotal things and you break them down into tasks related to that larger SMART goal, right? So we're taking, if you look at my 6 most pivotal things for today, because obviously we're filming the New Agenda today, I have a lot of things on here related to my show. One of those items is creating the cards and show outline for my show today. And so under that, if I was to task list that out, there are multiple steps. I need to spend time researching each of my guests. Then I need to formulate the questions that I'm going to ask them. Some of that comes from thinking about what really is the overall and driving theme. Some of that's related, of course, to what we're talking about on the intentional moment, of course. And then I need to put that into the cards, and then I need to take those cards and put that information into the actual agenda and give everything specific time stamps so that my crew knows when to cue me to move on to the next section. I also need to obviously locate all of the media that we're going to need for the show, and then make sure that I've done a follow-up with my guests to make sure that they're ready for the show as well. So those are some of the things that I have on my list to prepare for the New Agenda. Some of these tasks I can actually delegate elsewhere. For example, I don't need to be the one to go find the media. I can go ahead and have one of my staff members do that. So that comes off of my list. It's certainly on there, and I might need to check in later to make sure that it got done. But that's something I can remove from my task list and give to somebody else. So what I've done, if you notice, next to each of these tasks, I've actually given each one of these things an amount of time. And the reason why that's so important is because otherwise we don't necessarily get through everything. So I need to be reasonable, but I also need to make sure that I'm being effective and efficient with my time. So you'll see that for each guest, I've given 20 minutes to research each guest. That means that I'm reading through the bio that they sent me, which is usually just a very small blurb. It means that I am looking them up on IMDb. I am going to look them up on Google in general, and then I'm going to scroll through their social media. Part of the reason why I give myself only 20 minutes is because, and that's per guest, right, is because I know the second we open up social media, some of you have to do social media for your work. I do too. The second we open up social media, we could be scrolling for hours. We can waste so much time because we get distracted. And so giving yourself a specific amount of time to do that is really important. And so if you look at my calendar, you're going to see that I've taken every one of these items that I've given a specific amount of time to, each one of these tasks that I need to accomplish for my 6 most pivotal things today, and I've actually put them on my calendar. And I've literally blocked them. I've decided what time I'm going to do that. You'll see that it starts off, today's Monday, so we start off our team with a Monday morning meeting. And so you see that I've actually set aside time to prep for that meeting. And then I have our meeting. I've time blocked that. After my meeting, I've given myself a little bit of a break. That way I can get more coffee, obviously. And then I'm jumping right into researching my first guest, researching my second guest, and then getting into writing the actual cards. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that into my episode schedule. So that's all kind of in there as well. And then I've got a little bit of a space, and you'll see that then I have some time where I've set aside another 20 minutes to scroll through my email and to respond to emails. That's another thing you need to time block. Saying that you're going to check emails, you can literally spend hours scrolling through and responding to emails. Instead, give yourself just 15 or 20 minutes to do that. And then you'll see that There are other things on my calendar today that aren't on my 6 most pivotal things. That's because they're things that are on my calendar that I need to do, but they aren't necessarily in that 6 most pivotal. There are things that I can't move around, maybe things that happen regularly. For example, I've got a class that I teach at 3:30 every Monday. And then, we've actually, if you notice, blocked in time from 5:15 to 6:15 to go get dinner. That's really important. Literally blocked out my entire day, come back at 6:15, meet my guests, and we get ready for the new agenda. We're here until 8:15. So you can see it's a crazy day for me today. And this is one of the best ways that I make the most efficient use of my time. Everybody on our crew has a task list, and we've given them the timestamps for how long it should take them to complete each task. This is a great thing to do as an employer to ensure that your staff is being productive and really using your time and money in the most efficient way. It also challenges your team to accomplish more and to be responsible for their time and for their productivity and to really reach new levels. And so it's a really great way to challenge your team to be the very best that they can be. So this last couple of weeks, we've gone over a whole lot of things. And if you take all of those items and put them on your calendar in this time blocking fashion, I promise you, you are going to get so much done. You're going to be so effective, so efficient, and you're going to find yourself accomplishing way more than you thought was possible. Thanks so much for joining me for this intentional moment. See you next week.
I remembered. Yay! Hi, welcome back. So, what do you guys know about time management? How do y'all manage your time on set?
Oh, it can be pretty hectic. Like I said, with Dream Snatcher, we only had 12 hours for one of our shooting days, and we had 60% of our film to do. So we really had to break down the script, see what scenes to shoot in. The whole movie essentially takes place at night, and so we had to also figure out, because we couldn't do an overnight shoot, how to block it to where we could block out these windows to make it night here, or we just had to really break it down. So it's really just knowing how many shots you're going to be doing in each of those scenes, how many of the scenes you had to shoot there, and just giving the actors and everybody time to reset and everything too. So there's a lot to think about, and experience does help with that. Just knowing your equipment, your crew, and it'll come to you eventually. But just always give yourself more time, because I really do wish we had given ourselves more time on Dream Snatcher, because there's a few shots I really wish we could have redone, but you just have to live with what we have, and just don't abuse your crew either. Please.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I had a director say once that your movie succeeds or fails in pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-production is basically everything that happens before you get on set. So as a cinematographer, that comes with shot listing and making sure that you're scheduling shots that are congruent with the amount of time you have, and then making sure you prep everything and know your overheads of where your lighting's going to go and what lenses you're going to use, and all of that you think of before, so that once you get on set, all of the hard work that the director and the ADs, the assistant directors, have done to schedule out, you're not waiting on camera, because that's the worst thing you want to hear in the camera department, is waiting on camera.
Oh God, all I overheard was myself overthinking this entire thing. So how do you guys not overthink all this hecticness?
I guess the short answer is you don't.
You don't. You're sorry, I don't have time. Time is money.
But I mean, you just have to roll with it. You just got to go with it and really do as much prepping as you can, because I do agree with that mantra. But you really can. You can't spend enough time in pre-production. It's just planning and making sure that you have enough time for everything. Like I said before, it's just make sure you have it and make sure you're ready before you start the project. Otherwise, your project will die.
Yikes. Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said for kind of the way our industry has operated in the past, of it's very high pressure and really high stress, and movie making is always going to be stressful. But I think there's kind of a general trend and a movement towards making the career of filmmaking a little bit more livable, and part of that comes with not stressing yourself out all the time and taking care of your crew, like you said.
Okay.
Like even we see like the unions pushing more towards that. So I think on a grander scale. And so, yeah, in the indie films that we do, that's a huge priority, is crewing up with people that you know and you trust, so that everyone is supporting each other. And when I start to overthink in the corner, I have my AC there, who's my homie, and who can say, like, you're fine, you know, and then I can go tell the director, you're fine, and we're all just keeping each other sane.
No, it's really important to have that crew, and I really push my crew to, like, take breaks when they need to and everything, too, because, like, it's really easy to forget to even drink water when you're on set, so it's just, you know, making sure you have that kind of encouraging atmosphere.
Okay, y'all are like a couple of cool cats. I'm like, okay, I want to work with you guys. You guys sound amazing to work with. Like, okay.
We're just out here making movies.
Right.
Like, at the
That's
end of the
all
day,
I'm
we are playing make-believe.
No, literally, this whole world isn't real anyways. Like, look at this. Like, look at, like, is this even real? Hello. Like, that's literally, it's make-believe. It's not that serious. I love that. So I guess talking about your guys' films, when are your guys' films premiering at the Dark Red Horror Fest? Do you want to talk about that?
So I think we actually have the same block. Funny enough. We're in block, I think it's 4 technically, so we're the second block on Halloween, so we're the last little block.
Nice.
So we'll be streaming back to back, and Mason and Tabitha are the founders of Dark Red Horror, and they put so much work into this, and it's gonna be amazing. And there's some really cool, like, prizes and stuff too. The costume contest.
Oh yeah, there's a costume.
Has prizes like Meow Wolf tickets if you win the costume contest. So I know. So get dressed up in those go-go boots.
Thank you. The go-go boots are coming back, y'all. They're coming back. We got the heels today, but the other ones are coming back. Yeah. So speaking of, tickets to Meow Wolf? Wait, what kind of tickets? Like
tickets to, I think that's
one of
the, I think just to, like, the art exhibit itself.
Oh,
which
I was
amazing.
like, what concert?
No.
I hope he's hot. I'll be there with my go-go boots. We can go to the film festival, of course. So what, I totally spaced it. The film festival. Okay, so it's on October 31st. And are you guys dressing up?
Oh, I didn't even think. Well, I guess we have to. I didn't even.
I'm gonna have to. I'm going to a costume party afterwards,
Oh.
so I have to.
I was. My fiance and I were thinking of dressing up as Joyce and Hopper.
Oh,
Speaking of
you
which,
know,
so,
hey.
I don't know.
You should do that. Win the Meow Wolf tickets.
Yeah,
That'd be
right.
so cool. Definitely gonna have to check that out. So there's a costume contest. Everybody, it's on Halloween, and you guys are going to be there, so of course it's going to be fabulous.
Right.
Is there anything else that's going to be happening there that's sort of...
I think there's a social, I don't remember if it's October 30th or the 31st, but there was a social
There's
that's
an
happening.
after party, and there's also a bloody brunch, which I am a huge fan of brunches, so I will be in attendance. The bloody brunch, so there's a lot of, like, social events as a part of it too. It's going to be really, really awesome in congruence with the festival screenings.
Okay, cool. So is there anything else we want to bring in about the films? I guess another thing would be, like, nowadays you see a lot more, like, diversity and a lot more color, and they're like, yes, like, the brown is coming back. Like, yes, brown is beautiful. So do you want to touch base on sort of...
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, as a a woman in camera department, like, we're pretty rare. There's not a lot of ladies in a very, like, technical industry. So yeah, that's something that I'm really passionate about, and I think as indie filmmakers, when we're in these positions of leadership, it is such an honor to be able to be intentional about including diversity across the spectrum, because like the stories that I can tell, like, somebody else can't tell, and, like, the stories you can tell, I can't tell because of our experiences. So it's like a soapbox of mine. We want to share everyone's stories, and a limited person can't share all those stories. So it is important to see yourself on screen and to provide opportunities to everyone, regardless of where they came from or who they are. So yeah, and that's something that I think horror as well is really good at bringing together everyone, right? Because it's all coming down to, like, fear, and everyone's scared of something. So yeah, it's a good kind of middle ground to support with diversity.
No, I definitely agree with that, and I try to bring that in with my films, as much as possible too. And I mean, there's so much talent here in Albuquerque, or just in general, and so it's like, why would you want to close out so much of that talent, just by being so short-sighted. So,
No, literally. I mean, there are a lot of new, like, iconic films being made here, like, that incorporate a lot of, like, diversity on set, like Dark Winds, Res Dogs, the new Prey movie. Like, that cast is so indigenous that it's, like, inspiring to someone like me, because they're paving the way, so then I can go and present myself in a less stereotypical Hollywood way, but stand in my, like, true power as, like, a native woman.
Yeah,
Get me?
it trickles down, like,
Yeah.
to every aspect. And
Definitely does. I
and
love
then
that.
to people watching it at home.
No,
So,
and the fact that, like, they're made here, and even, like, the crew, they're also being more diversified. Like, it's not just people that are on camera, it's also people behind the scenes, like you said, in makeup and costume, and it's all just sort of flowing more. And I love this, like, new wavelength that we're sort of, like, riding on now,
right.
We're definitely evolving. We're evolving.
We're getting
Do
there.
you guys feel like we're evolving?
I feel like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
starting to get there. The industry has a long way to go, but
Yeah,
I think
they
we
do.
are making good headway.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of the industry has a long way to go, women in film. Do you feel like it's more safe now for women than it was, like, before?
Yeah, and I have a limited experience in film at being, like, younger, so I can't really speak for, like, the generations before me, but, like, I've heard stories and I've experienced just, like, treatment that's different, especially, like I said, in these technical industries where, like, it can be so simple as, like, a dude not trusting that I can hold a 40-pound rig on my shoulder. Like, for what,
Yeah.
And yeah, so it can be kind of as like, petty as that, but it runs deeper. And yeah, especially that was one thing that this director did. Like, he told this story for Vivian, for the women in his life and his sisters, and it was definitely, like, a love letter to, like, their experiences, and he was intentional about bringing on, especially behind the camera, because we see the worlds uniquely. So because it was a female lead, it made sense to have the visuals from a female perspective. So it really does change. Like, pay attention when you're watching movies. You can tell if a camera is from, like, a male gaze or a female gaze, and it's like, one's not better than the other, right? But
Different.
they're very different. Yeah.
Wait, that is so cool. I, like, being new to this whole industry, too, I've never heard of that. So you said you can tell the difference between a male gaze and a female gaze, in, like, even down to the camera. So what does that mean? Like, what is that?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Like,
I don't
film
even things?
I've never heard of that. Like, I need
How
to
do I
study
film
more.
things? Well, I can speak for
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
That's great. I can't speak for anybody else, but for myself, like, my visuals are also kind of driven from my experience in the theater, so they're very authentic to character. I like to think of the camera as a character, and then especially in this film that was about how this female character is viewing the world from a place of fear, I tapped into my experiences. What did I feel like? Literally, where was I looking? Was I looking up? Was I looking down? Was I crouched over? Did I feel like I could see everything around me, or was I hyper-focused on what I was looking at? All those things dictate the focal length of my lenses that I choose, the way I light, like, all of that. And it was coming from personal experiences. So.
Nice. Okay, I like that. See, that's, like, the beauty about film, is it's, like, it can be so personal, or it can be so just, like, carefree. You're like, is it real or is it fake? But I, like, leave that to the audience to, like, use their imagination and, like, what do they think, I asked you what your favorite horror film was. I want to know, what is your favorite horror film? Do you have one?
Do you want to know the honest
Yes,
truth?
I
is
do.
that
Do
I'm
you-
new to the horror world. Like, we were talking about this before. I used to, like, be so scared of horror, but even especially coming to Albuquerque, there's a lot of horror here. And so, I'll say it. We watched the new It movie recently, and I really enjoyed it. It was very spooky.
Yeah.
That was intense.
It really
That was
was
intense,
It
very.
was scary.
Don't they have, I heard they have a new horror one that just came out, and it's really, like, people are they're literally coming out of the theaters, like, nothing. They're just like, ooh, what just happened? I don't know the name of it. I know. See, yeah, it's so scary. You don't even know the name of it. 'Cause it's just subliminal in your mind. You're literally horrified. Wow. Oh my God. So, well, I guess, is there anything else that we want to, like, about your guys' films?
I mean, just come check them out. You know, it'll be the Dark Red Horror Film Fest is at the Guild Cinema, and it'll be October 30th and 31st.
Celebrate Albuquerque filmmakers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So do you guys plan on doing anything else beyond, like after this is done, what's your next sort of projects?
Yeah, I'm working on a TV pilot right now, actually for the, it's in the same universe as Harbinger, so I'm trying to get that going. We also have a couple of short films in Mirage Media that we're working on right now. So
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm in that pre-pro world for a music video and a feature film that's shooting it here in Albuquerque in January. So
Nice.
things are
Oh.
happening.
Nice. So how do you guys find like your funding and stuff, like to fund these, or do you guys self-fund them?
I've self-funded mine so far. I've tried Indiegogo to not a very big success, you know.
I've heard of that. Whenever I did take a film class, and the first thing they showed us was how to film for your or fund for your film, and it was Indiegogo. But I've never seen a lot of success with that. As much as they advertise it, it's but where's you have all this talk, but where's the bark and the bite to get the money, you know?
Vivian was funded
Yeah.
primarily through Seed and Spark, which is what I would recommend to filmmakers.
Seed
It
and
is a
Spark.
filmmaker specific platform, and there's literally just funders that lurk on Seed and Spark looking for shorts. So it's a little bit more high risk, because if you don't meet 70% of your goal, you don't get the money. But yeah, I mean, I've seen films fund 30 grand off of Seed and Spark, so I would definitely recommend that. Again, Vivian did it really successfully, so it's possible for anyone. Yeah.
What about your locations and stuff? How do you guys find those?
Actually, for Dream Snatcher, we were shopping on the Albuquerque Film Office website,
Oh,
just kind of
cool,
going
yeah.
through there, and just reaching out to people off of there. Airbnb is another one. You can just kind of shop for things off of there and just email the people individually.
Oh, see, I always wondered about that. How do you get permission from the Airbnb owners to you just? Because I know some of them are some of them are totally on board.
It just,
Ew.
you should definitely talk to them about it. I know some people who film in the places and don't say
yeah.
anything, but you should not do that. It's
No,
not best
you can't
practice.
get through production without damaging something.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's
So,
impossible.
It's just better to
Yeah.
do that and just
Yeah.
shell out for the insurance too. It's
Mhm.
not expensive, or it really isn't. It's just,
It's those small investments lead to bigger.
well, yeah, because then if
Just
you're
to be
damaged
safe.
something that's
Yeah.
$5,000, that's
Yeah.
$5,000 from the budget you have to pay for.
Yeah. And while
So-
you're thinking about locations as far as the mise en scène and the
Right.
insurance, I'm looking at locations as where can I put my gear? Can I light this
Mhm.
window? Are we on the 5th floor that I can put a light through the
Right.
window? Where is all my camera stuff gonna sit? So yeah, it's when you're picking locations, as a DP, I like to be involved in the process too, as much as I can. But yeah, a good creative collaboration.
I like that. A creative collaboration. So when you're working with your actors, do any of them ever give hard time, or they're just super easygoing, or have you ever had some crazy moments on set where you're oh my god, where did I find you, or who found you, or has it always been really chill?
I've been lucky with mine, working with Leah and Jamoy, my two partners. They've been great. They do everything. They're very professional. The two I found on Craigslist.
Yes, Craigslist.
They were great, but they, after sending them the script a week beforehand and working with them on this 3-page script for 3 hours on set, they still didn't have their lines memorized. We had to literally read the script off of it. So some of them are just kind of, you roll with the punches, and you, for that one, we literally had to read line by line and just get the right reading for it. You just have to kind of do it that way.
Gosh.
Yeah. I've also been really lucky. I've had mainly really good experiences. Again, as a cinematographer, your relationship with talent is very unique in these indie films. I like indie because I actually do get to have a relationship with them. I had a really awesome experience filming an intimacy scene. We had an intimacy coach present, and it was another example of a closed set, a safe set. And it really did become myself and the intimacy coach and the talent kind of working together to create this avant-garde scene. So you can really make some magic with and these actors just the talent is insane.
I love that. A little scandal. I love a little promiscuous moment.
When it works for the story.
No,
Right,
yeah,
yes,
right?
yes.
Unless you're just like Christina Aguilera burlesque it out.
Right.
This bold makeup
Yeah,
look.
true. And intimacy, like I say, and it was an intimacy scene, it can mean so many
Yes.
things. It's a
Yes.
really, really broad category.
Mhm.
And if anything is intimate, bring on an intimacy coach.
Do tell about that, because that is one thing that is definitely that is like a must on any
Yeah,
scene. Even if it's like
absolutely.
holding hands, just to know boundaries and like yes, no, sort of always. Yes,
Yeah.
I would love to touch more on that. So tell us about that.
Yeah. Again, I can speak from the perspective of the DP, but this intimacy coach was so talented, and first of all, did a really good job of setting the stage and making sure that everyone knew what was going on. It was interesting. She kind of, in this instance, she kind of like stepped into a directorial role. So she closed the set. She double checked and made sure that only the people that needed to look at monitors were looking at monitors. And then she had worked with the talent months before the shoot, and then for 2 hours before they were called to set, they worked together, the intimacy coach and the talent. And so by the time they got in the room, they were using phrases that like they knew what it meant, but I didn't, and the director didn't. And yeah, it was so cool. But it felt so safe. It felt so just like normal. It didn't feel scandalous at all.
Sorry.
Like no, I mean, but that's the goal, right? Is like the
Yeah.
set is just is normal, and it's just another day at work.
Yeah.
But the art you create evokes whatever emotion it is you're trying to evoke. So yeah, ever since then, I am a huge proponent of intimacy coaches, even for a makeout scene, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
holding hands. Something about the industry that's growing and changing. But like the physical and emotional safety of cast and crew should always come before everything on a film set. So.
That is 100% true. Who was the lady? Do you know who the lady was who actually formed the? Like, there was a lady who actually started the whole intimacy on set coordinator. Her name was.
I don't know. I need to research this.
I know, because
Okay.
she's from somewhere, but I was researching on her because somebody had mentioned it. I was like, oh, kudos to her for also paving the way for more safe set. Also, women in film again, like safe for us too.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a recent position on set too, which is just
It
crazy to
is.
me how recent it is.
It's
like
so
within the
recent.
past 10 years.
Yeah.
No,
you know?
literally.
Yeah.
Like,
That's like the fact that it took this long to get to that is like, come on, guys,
Right.
like, do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like besides that, I mean, anything else that we should throw out? Just
I feel great.
You feel
I
great,
can't wait to
yes.
get y'all's Instagram.
oh my god, me too. We're gonna be so fabulous. We're gonna do bold makeup and
Yes.
bold everything, and then I love it. I love it. I love it. So for you, so both of you guys, yes, definitely need the Instagrams. I love this little film family we're forming here. I feel like, yeah, see what happens when like people just like come together. You never know until you. So do you guys know each other? Or you just.
I know we just met out there. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because this is so like natural. I love it. It's just like we're all just
It's a film
besties
family.
here.
Yeah,
It is a film family. I love that. Well, I guess for the end of this, any last final words? I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna miss you guys.
I mean, thank you for
No, yeah,
having me
thanks
on
so
show.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Like seriously, like it's amazing. I'm glad we get to promote this and safe place, where it's all love and light and.
We'll see you at the festival.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, we will. Oh, are you kidding me? Like the go-go boots are gonna make a comeback, so stay tuned.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna go bolder. This was not bold enough, obviously. Look at me. Yeah. Well, I guess it's time for a
New
new agenda.